Imagine a story. Let's say you're a university student and it's getting close to the end of the semester. You have a crush on that girl from the parallel class you've seen a couple times. You've been planning to talk to that person for some time now, but you never had the courage to do so. You see that person in the school corridor, potentially for the last time in your life, because it's the last time you both have classes in the same building and at the same time in that semester. Now that's a progress. You actually somehow get the courage to say something to that girl. You ask if she's living in the dorm, and then tell her a quick compliment. After barely few words, she says she's gotta hurry, because her class has already started. Well, I guess that's a goodbye. You see her go, and you think to yourself, oh, that was awkward, knowing that it's possible that you'll never see her again. Now it all sounds pretty funny, but the plot twist is, it actually happened to me recently. Did I get sad? A bit, but at the same time, after a short while I accepted it with peace, knowing that there was not much I could do. And even though I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, it actually felt a bit satisfying. That's the power of Stoicism. Life tries to knock us down sometimes, but it's mostly dependent on us how we react to it. You probably know what Stoicism is about. Here's a brief summary. Basically, nothing or almost nothing that's outside of your control is either good or bad. Life happens, you sometimes get what you want, sometimes not. But what matters is how you react. If you get emotional because of the things that are outside of your control, well, you're sad and it's your fault. But when you calmly accept what happened and respond to it with virtue, you win. And this is what I feel like I did. I actually calmly accepted what I was afraid of. And I might be wrong, but I think this is what happens in these situations. That weird feeling of satisfaction. The feeling when things outside of you go not as you've planned, but things in your head go as planned. The thing with Stoicism is, it's good to read and listen about it, but applying it is a totally different story. We know what we're supposed to do, but we still react to life with hate, resentment, disappointment and anger. What can I say? This way we are literally becoming our worst enemy. But when we actually mature and start accepting life as it is, we actually start enjoying it, even though things are not the way we imagined them to be. Stoicism in practice is where many people give up. They read one book about Stoicism, then try to apply what they've read, they fail over and over, and then they forget what they've learned. That's why it feels so good to actually apply it correctly once. So what did I do in the situation I described earlier? Honestly, it was a very special situation. I'm still having trouble applying Stoicism often, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why I didn't feel so regretful afterwards. What I'm gonna tell you now is only what I think helped me, but I'm not 100% sure if it was the exact thing that made me so calm, so you can treat it just as some advice on how you yourself can put Stoicism in practice. I think this is what helped me in that exact situation, but I don't want to lie, and so I confess that I just am not completely sure. Plus, in this situation, if I remember correctly, I didn't think anything about, okay, now we're doing Stoicism, but rather, it's more about that I just had the attitude of, okay, stuff happened. So let's get it. One of the things that probably helped me is my small but still some experience in Stoicism. The only way to remember Stoic principles and get good at them is actually just by applying them. If you're not serious about Stoicism, it's really easy to forget about it and come back to your instinctual reactions. Why? Because it's hard. Stoicism requires effort rather than going on autopilot. You can just go with the flow of your emotions like an animal instead of questioning their validity. You can read 1,000 Stoicism related books and still be worse than that one guy who just prefers learning Stoicism by actually using it and putting some effort. And yeah, I think that's what helps you the most. Just being used to accepting what you have to accept. But also, even though I can't tell you for sure, I think that a huge part of it was simply by expecting what will happen. I already knew that the chances of success were slim, and so before the event I've prepared for the bad scenario. It's not my usual method, and to be honest, it's the first time I actually used it successfully. I am not an expert, I'm talking about these things, but I'm often struggling with Stoicism. This time I was successful, but many other times I'm not. And also it's not like I perfectly accepted what happened. I still feel a bit sad because of it. But the thing is, I know that this situation made me much stronger as a human being. It gave me the motivation to work on myself even harder. And that's something I'm almost certain about. This situation really gave me some motivation. It's strange, but I both accepted the reality and used it as a fuel to grow. What's weird about it? You know, when people talk about Stoicism, they usually mean being totally indifferent to everything, and they often see motivation from negative experiences as something that's against traditional Stoic attitude. Now, I literally mixed Stoicism with emotions. Some people believe that Stoicism is about being unable to feel anything, and that's simply not true. You can be both calm and highly motivated. The situation didn't cause me to hate my life, but to change it for the better, and the motivation I've gotten from it is much higher than the hopelessness people usually get when losing their crush or something like that. I didn't let the grief take over, and instead I turned it into power. And frankly, I don't actually know if it was the last time I've seen that girl. And because of the motivation I got, the next time I see her, I hope probably that time I myself will be a totally different, better person. But still, the healthiest attitude about such things is the attitude of, yeah, I don't care. This is how we grow. And if the things that I'm saying seem valuable to you, show me your motivation. Go and slash that subscribe button into a million pieces. A like or comment would also be nice. I appreciate it, thanks. Now once again, because I was ready to fail, I did put more effort into succeeding in the second objective, which was not letting that situation crush me. It actually reminded me of one thing I think I've read in Epictetus' Discourses, or Enchiridion, about how wherever we go, we should have two objectives. First, the main goal. Second, to remain calm and virtuous no matter what happens. I don't know if you believe in God or not, but I think you will find my next words useful. Faith can help you a lot in accepting such situations. Stoics say that events happen in accordance to nature, but in Christianity it all happens in accordance to God's will, something much higher than just mere nature. And also, prayer is a very powerful thing. I prayed that I will succeed, and it actually partly came true, because I actually found the courage to talk to that person. And I don't want to lie, so I confess that I don't 100% remember what I prayed about. But I think that I also prayed that if I won't succeed, I will accept God's will and let this experience improve me. Plus, after the event I also prayed, and I think it's another thing that helped me move on so quickly. If I remember well, instead of feeling resentment, I tried to feel grateful to God. Maybe my failure was because of my incompetence, or maybe it was what God had planned since the beginning. But still, whatever happened, happened, and now I'm gonna use it as a motivation to grow. Not from resentment of what happened, but from the urge to become more mature as a human being. This video was very much in a form of a story. If you want to learn something more about how to apply Stoicism in reality, I think this one is for you. It touches the topic of practical Stoicism in more detailed, lectural way. Thanks for your time. Growth is our duty. Bye.